These are the flicks that had the red carpet rolled out, the billboards up in Times Square, and the Twitter sphere buzzing. But when the curtain lifted, all we got was a cinematic facepalm. Suicide Squad. Everyone had high hopes for this DC film about a crew of supervillains saving the world. The trailers promised a dark, edgy comic book romp, and the cast boasted big names like Margot Robbie and Will Smith. But what we got was a jumbled mess of a plot, poor character development, and a villain that looked like it was borrowed from a Power Rangers episode. Notably, despite the overwhelming negative reviews, the movie raked in a whopping $746 million worldwide.
What was that? I should kill everyone and escape? Sorry. The voices. I'm kidding. That's not what they really said.
19 years after we last saw Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford picked up the whip and hat again for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. The film ditches the historical and archaeological intrigue for alien conspiracy theories and a plot that felt like a rejected X-Files episode. The most memorable and meme-worthy scene involved Indy surviving a nuclear explosion by hiding in a fridge. Yes, you read that right. Despite all this, the film still managed to dig up over $786 million worldwide, proving that nostalgia is a powerful force. Well, now in 2024, we know that even Indy can't exactly pull off the same trick twice. The Dial of Destiny, released last year, is considered one of the biggest box office disasters of 2023, and a futile attempt to milk that nostalgia again.
Cover it! Enough!
The Last Airbender was a disgrace to the beloved Nickelodeon animated series. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Director M. Night Shyamalan somehow turned a complex, emotionally rich, and beautifully animated series into a 3D muddle of exposition and underwhelming effects. The film's gross whitewashing of the ethnically diverse characters was the scandalous cherry on top. Despite all this, it managed to garner $319 million at the box office, leaving fans of the original series baffled and disappointed. Yes, some of us are still bitter even 13 years later.
You are the only one who can bring balance to a world at war. But some will stop at nothing to destroy you.
M. Night Shyamalan again, folks. This time he gave us The Happening, a movie that promised a chilling thriller about an unseen apocalyptic event. Instead, audiences were treated to Mark Wahlberg running from the wind and talking to a plastic plant. The film's hype turned out to be as empty as its plot, and despite making $163 million worldwide, it left a bad taste in many viewers' mouths.
The first stage is loss of speech.
Claire?
The second stage is physical disorientation. The third stage is fatal.
While the first Transformers movie was entertaining enough, its sequel took all the wrong lessons from its success. Revenge of the Fallen doubled down on the explosions and CGI, but forgot to include a coherent plot or engaging characters. Not to mention the pair of racially insensitive Autobots that sparked a controversy.
You don't stop, you don't hide, you run. You hear what I'm saying? We're all going together!
The Twilight Saga: Breaking Dawn, Part 2. The final installment of the Twilight franchise had fans hyped for an epic conclusion. Instead, it delivered a finale with a twist so ridiculous that it felt like a cheap trick rather than a thrilling climax. Despite the tepid critical reception, the film pulled in a staggering $829 million worldwide, proving that teen vampire love truly does conquer all, even common sense.
I've had a bad habit of underestimating you. Every obstacle you faced, I think you couldn't overcome it. And you just did.
I didn't expect you to seem so... you?
My time as a human was over, but I never felt more alive.
Star Wars Episode I: The Phantom Menace. Ever wanted to watch a space opera that spends an inordinate amount of time discussing galactic trade disputes? Neither did we, but that's exactly what George Lucas served up with The Phantom Menace. Fans who had waited 16 years for a new Star Wars movie were greeted with a convoluted plot, stilted dialogue, and a character so universally reviled that it became a pop culture punchline: Jar Jar Binks. Despite all of this, the force was strong with the box office, which hit over $1 billion worldwide, reminding us that a Star Wars logo can sell almost anything.
Are you an angel?
What?
An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They're the most beautiful creatures in the universe.
How do you know so much?
I listen to all the traders and star pilots who come through here. I'm a pilot, you know, and someday I'm gonna fly away from this place.
You're a pilot?
All my life.
Adapted from the scandalously popular erotic novel 50 Shades of Grey, promised a boundary-pushing exploration of a BDSM relationship. Instead, audiences were subjected to a series of monotonous, uninspired sex scenes strung together by a plot as thin as one of Christian Grey's ties. Lead characters Christian and Anastasia lacked chemistry, and the dialogue was cringe-inducing at best. Despite these shortcomings, it whipped up over $570 million globally, proving that a little controversy goes a long way in selling tickets.
It's important that you know you can leave at any time.
Why? What's in there?
I meant what I said.
The hype for Fallen Kingdom was built on the nostalgia of the original Jurassic Park and the moderate success of its predecessor Jurassic World. However, the movie took a sharp, questionable turn into horror territory with a plot about dinosaur trafficking and a mansion-set climax straight out of a B-horror film. Add in a dinosaur auction and a genetically engineered super raptor for good measure, and you've got a film that lost the charm of the original.
These creatures were here before us. And if we're not careful, they're gonna be here after.
Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. Two of the most iconic superheroes in a gladiator match. What could go wrong? Quite a lot, as it turns out. The film's plot is overstuffed, trying to juggle a Batman-Superman feud, the introduction of Wonder Woman, a Frankenstein-esque monster, and setting up the Justice League. Instead of an epic showdown, we got a confusing mess that culminates in the now infamous Martha scene. Nevertheless, the film scored a hefty $873 million at the box office, demonstrating the draw of seeing iconic heroes clash, even if it's just in a verbal argument about their mother's shared name.
He has the power to wipe out the entire human race. If we believe there's even a 1% chance that he is our enemy, we have to take it as an absolute certainty.
The greatest gladiator match in the history of the world. God versus man.